You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
It's me, Jenna.
And me, Shanice.
That is Shanice.
Yes.
And we had books to read today. We didn't get a whole lot of books in today. I think it's, what were you saying, the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, it's the new year, which, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
So we got some new books for the new year. So, hey.
I think everything that we picked out today was number ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all new storylines. New. Don't ask me why. But it was kind of a slow week this week with it being early New Year time. Sorry, the weather outside, it was pouring all day yesterday. And then was it last night? I think it was also last night.
Yeah, it was thundering and pouring.
Yeah. So it's got that like in the air feel of just like sleepy time. And one of the lights is trying to flicker on us. Lay rude.
But I think the books that we read this week definitely got me energized. Some of them made me go, just what am I reading in a good way? And all the books that I was like, oh, I can't wait to read the second issue. So It was a good week. It's a small week, but it's always good books to read. So I'm happy about that.
Definitely. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start off with Trojan from AWA Comics. And as you can tell from the cover, like, these are her wings, but they're also like screens as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So with Trojan, it's an interesting premise. So on our planet, like, on Earth, fairies, like, and other fantasy creatures, they used to be real, and they were beloved, and we lived alongside them. It was, and it was awesome. But then, of course, us being humans, we got jealous, and we started to hate them, and we just tried to cast them out, and it caused, like, all these magical beings to essentially just kind of go into hiding because they were being attacked and killed. Fast forward to our time, where they still exist, but they kind of live underground.
Sorry, I'm working and sharing it.
This character, I just see on the cover. So she is something. I don't want to spoil what, but I'm pretty sure you can figure it out just by the cover.
Is she Faye?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm not, yes or no. But she is in fact a Faye, and she's trying to get help with something that is very dark and very strange, and I don't know if I should even say it or not because it's a pretty big spoiler. The person that she reaches out to, he's not the most upstanding citizen, but even he's like, whoa. So I guess my thoughts on it, Faraday. Exactly, Faraday. I don't really know how I felt about it. I like the idea of it, but some of the imagery in the book, I was like, okay, I get it, but it's essentially a snuff film, but in a comic book form.
Oh. And
I know that was the writer's intent, because he name dropped Faces of Death, which is a movie that I will never like. I'm not trying to knock people who do enjoy watching that sort of thing. It's just not for me. I just don't particularly care to watch those kinds of films. And with this comic, I get what he's trying to do. And again, I like the premise. I like the world that you're introduced to, but it's one of those things. It's like, okay, are you doing this just for shock value, or is it just, I don't know. Like I don't know how I really felt about it. Like, I don't want to say, like, oh, I hated it, because I know I didn't. But I didn't love it either. So it's very just down the line, like down the middle for me.
Yeah. Maybe I have to pick up a second issue to see.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if I want to.
Oh.
It's been a while since I've read a comic like this. Yeah, it is very middle of the road for me, and it's been a minute since Hi Doodle.
Hi.
It's not that bad. And again, like, it's not my cup of tea, and I'm not knocking the people who did like it. It's just like, I don't know if I want to read a second issue or not. But I will say this: it's a comic that definitely left me thinking about it for a while, and I'm pretty sure when I go home tonight, I'm gonna like. Charging for projection, Jesus. I'm definitely going to be thinking about this comic, and I would love to talk to people about it tomorrow at the store, if they want to swing by or chat on our Facebook page about it. But it's definitely read for yourself how you feel about it, as long as you can handle certain scenes.
I can't get over that.
Yeah, because it is
your protection.
Yeah, it's a pretty violent book.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a book similar to that. This was Punchline and Camilla Wallace. It's a #1 crossover from Antarctic Press. Okay. So I was not the biggest fan of it, but I can see, like, there were moments that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But, like, the biggest moment, and I actually wrote a whole bunch. So it opens with 2 girls talking about going to this lake to, like, hang out. And then one girl's like, oh, I heard it's haunted. The other girl's like, well, maybe. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you both maybe think that this lake is haunted and you want to go there? I don't, like, okay, okay, so they open up a brand new McDonald's down the street, and, like, the first thing every single person that goes in there says, hey, yo, it's super haunted. Their ghostess is killing people. You'd be like, I think I might not go, right?
Well, if they're like, but they have an amazing mango pineapple smoothie there, it's like, I'd probably give it a shot.
I will hit the drive-thru. I won't go inside.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, why? Like, Antarctic Press gets a lot of cold reviews. We're here for the dad jokes today, aren't we? Is that what it is? Anyways, so you have these 2. They're friends, kind of, like the main 2 people on the cover. They're superhero friends. Like, they're not friends outside of being, they're like work friends, but not like outside work friends. So they like, she goes zooming out of her apartment, and her roommate has to be like, hey, remember, he doesn't know that you're this person. And she's like, thanks for yelling it to the neighborhood, but all right, go off. She flies there, and, like, they're at the lake looking for 2 missing teenage girls. And it's like, well, of course they went to the lake. They heard it was possibly haunted. And the thing that attacks, the thing that attacks them is a giant, I mean, the size of a house, pig. Like an actual, like, cute pink pig, but giant. And it just starts, like, charging at them. And then he fends it off. And then they're like, oh, let's go explore. And they find this giant warehouse. Like, man, it smells like bacon in here. And, oh my God, a herd of mutant pigs with just, like, eyes everywhere come out. And the fight was, like, they were throwing the pig. But then she was like, ew, gross. That's, like, a pig. And then she grabs one by a tail. And an eye pops out of the tail. And she's like, that's disgusting. But they beat the pigs. And I'm not exactly sure what I read, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, one pig had 3 eyes. One pig had 2 eyes and then 2 eyes in its ears. And then, like, the other pig she was trying to fight, she grabbed it by its tail to try and, like, swing it around to hit other pigs with. And an eye popped out of his tail.
I feel like you had a experience, Wink. And read a comic.
It was like a Doom Patrol episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually had to put it down for a minute. And I was like, hey, Nicole, can you come look at this and tell me if this is what I'm seeing? Or am I just, like, sleep deprived and imagining things? So she walks over. She's like, that is an eyeball coming out of a pig's tail. I was like, cool. I'm not imagining things. But yeah, so, and then somehow the pigs tore off his clothes. So he was fighting like mostly naked while doing this. And then they made a really big deal because like her uniform messes up too. It's just full cheek right there. You're just like, all right. Yeah, okay. Go off. Fight. But there's a happy ending, kind of, sort of. It is a number one for a crossover because there's a conspiracy going on in the background of mutant pigs. I didn't understand it. I tried. The art was just like this, though. So the art was actually pretty well done. That was what the art was actually like. So the art was pretty cool. And yeah, so that was Punchline Camilo Wallace #1 crossover special. This mutant pigs.
Mutant pigs.
Mutant with the eyeball coming out of its tail.
Well, sadly, my next pick is I have mutant pigs with eyeballs coming out of tails, but this is Mosely. I really, really liked it. I was initially worried, like, not. I mean, I wasn't worried about the creative team working on it because I especially like glamorized other work. But as I'm reading it, I'm like, man, I hope it doesn't turn into a technology bad type book type story. But thankfully, it doesn't turn into that. It's a very interesting like sci-fi like comic, like, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Black Mirror a little bit.
Oh yeah,
where you're kind of like, oh, this isn't like terrifying, but this kind of freaks me out a little bit.
This could happen.
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of it, right? Because it's like this is weirdly plausible, but not like outright impossible.
I love Black Mirror, but at the same time, each episode felt scary possible.
Right, and with this one, yeah, I think you'll really like it, Sean. It was tied for my personal pick of the week, with a book up here that I will mention. But yeah, I just really liked it. Like the main character is likable. Like you sympathize with him, and you just want to be like, oh man, this dude is going through it. And it gives you just enough story where like it kind of fills in the blanks about what happened in the past to now, but it also makes you want to like, okay, I want to know what happened to like his wife, what happened to have us get to this point in the story. And I just really liked it. I love the designs of the characters. I love this. I just love this book so much.
I'm jealous now.
I don't know. I realized like say like, hey, producer, you wanna have a thing too? Because like it. God, this is the more I think about it. Yeah, the more I think about it, I just want to reread it. So if you love sci-fi, if you just read the book, even if you don't like sci-fi, just read it. It's
if you like things like Black Mirror, if you're up your alley, I guess. Yeah, which means I need to read it. All right. Gosh, my books were so all over the place, weren't they? Speaking of technology, let's talk about Holiday Party. Pay close attention to the middle dude. Do you see the tree middle dude? Does everybody see the tree middle dude?
I see a tree.
Everybody has seen the tree middle dude. He was actually, so this is a Scotch McTiernan's book. As you know, they come out for every holiday. They have one with Scotch doing something. This one was a Christmas one. So he gets to the North Pole and he comes up and Santa's workshop is melting because of global warming. And the elves are just like, keep bucketing the water out because it's just sinking. It's sinking. And they're just, like, man, we haven't been paying 1,800 years. And they're like, just get the water out. And it's just like, man, money. And they're like, but water. And Santa comes running out because Mrs. Claus comes running out. Mm-hmm. Mind you, this is in the first 2 pages. All this is the first 2 pages. So Mrs. Claus comes out with her suitcase. She's like, I am leaving you. You said things would change, but they haven't changed in centuries. And by the way, I've been faking it for 80 years. And she just like chunks the deuce and leaves. Like, that's all she says in the entire book. And he's like, what's going on? And Scotch is like, hey, Santa, everything all right? I'm here to help you again this year. And he's like, no, not everything's all right. Go away. And so he's like, all right, cool. And he goes back to his cabin. And he sits back. And he has a little puff, pass to himself moments. And what comes out is that tree dude. who decides to take Scotch with him to go play Scrooge on a dude who's a major tech dude who's been developing tech, and it all started with a what they call it lace book. Where you could rate people hot or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it started. And then he's like, I made a cool meal off that. And then so the ghost of Christmas Past was this dude. And he's like, look at this. You made this lace book for people and things, and you ruined a lot of lives. And the dude's like, that's how I made my cool meal. And he's like, well, whatevs. I'm down, whatever. And then he leaves, and then he comes back in a Santa suit, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I forgot I'm playing Two Spirits. My bad, man. And he's like, I'm the ghost of Christmas present. Look at this. Like, you're still ruining people's lives by, making the Lamazon.
Lamazon.
Huh. I think, I don't know if it was supposed to be pronounced Lamazon or Lamazon. They just put an L there because things. And the dude's like, what do I care? Like, and the dude's like, well, you should. Whatever, I'm done. You're really not going to like the next one. And the next one is Scotch. It's Scotch, and you get to go to Christmas Future, where it's, hold on. I actually had to write this part down because this was crazy. Oh yeah, the future, he made an all-out civil war on Mars. But like, at that point, the elves unionized.
Huh.
And so they were just like, you invented robots to electrocute us to make work harder for your Mars warehouse for Lamazon.
Jeez.
And then Santa comes and picks up Scotch from his cabin, and like, it just tumbles from there. That's the first half of the book. All of that was the first half of this book, and it was absolute insanity. I kind of enjoyed it. The absolute chaos and insanity. And as you see on the cover is all the characters that they've had for their past holiday ones. Like, there's the alien that spread the STI to everybody. There's the skeleton dude that just kind of like went off with people. Yeah, so it's all the people from the past year of holidays, things, and I don't know what I was reading. You'd think they'd have a water pump by now after several thousand years. You would think. Let me guess. So the guy gets no. The book is dark something. Yep. That is a.
Yeah, I was gonna say that book is darker than I was expecting.
Oh, it got dark. It got dark fast, and it just got worse. It just like, I figured for the Christmas holiday spirit. Oh no, we had civil wars. We had electrocuting people. We had somebody die in somebody's arms. We had somebody kill somebody so that he could put a helmet on somebody else who was dead anyways. Like, it was
dark, very dark.
Somebody's eye got popped out, all Total Recall style.
I'm noticing an eye trend, the books that you've been reading today.
Yes!
So mine is Purgatori Must Die. This book was actually very, very funny. I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I was expecting. So basically, like how it says, Purgatori Must Die.
Yes, it is the same ones who did Halloween Party.
So basically, everyone wants to kill her because she is like way too OP. That the gods are like, she's got to go. So we just gotta, kill her, because at this point she's getting so powerful that we, the gods, we can't even stop her. So you have like the different like pantheon, like gods from like different pantheons, like teaming up. It's like, hey, so we gotta send like a, hit squad after her, and hit squad. It's basically other Dynamite characters. So they're like, hey, we will hire you. We'll like grant your wishes. And some of them are like, okay, cool. You're going to grant my wish. Awesome. Others are like, oh, okay, cool. Power and all that. Others are like, yeah, I don't like her either. You can just, I can do this for free.
I got you, Bill.
Yeah, I got to kill her.
I got you, Bill.
It's fantastic. I really do like it. But yeah, she's really, it's because she is just so like whatever about it. Like, just kind of like, yeah, everyone is just super jealous of me and da 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 because like I'm super awesome and her like assistant is like, we need to go. They are trying to kill us. Why aren't you taking it seriously? And she's like, whatever. And,
like they could kill me, as if they could ever.
A little bit. It's like I like reading her dialogue in like this Valley Girl accent, even though it doesn't make any sense because she's from Egypt. But it's.
Is there an Egyptian Valley Girl accent?
I get hopefully.
I'm gonna figure one out. Yeah.
But yeah, I just really like this book. She's a really funny character. Yeah, because I want to like root for her, but at the same time I can get why she's so grating to other characters. So she kind of reminds me of a old girl from Zenoscope, Cinderella a little bit.
Oh, yes. I love yes.
So
as if they could try me.
So it's a really fun book if you want action, humor, and all that jazz. It's just a really fun book that for New Year, highly recommend it. It was a blast.
I like books that are fun to read.
Yeah, it's funny.
All right, so this was Super, and I'm trying. Oh, this is Spy Superb.
Hi, Kenan.
Hey, is that how you say that? Superb. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get my notes for this one. All right. So there's actually on the back of it a huge code on a receipt. At least for this one there was. When he's like, go check out the website. And it's his personal website. And he actually put his personal email in the back of it too. Because he wanted people to talk to him about it. I was like, that was really cool. Now let's talk about the book. So it opens with a bunch of dialogue talking about the history of Spy Superb, and then somebody opens the trunk of their car, and it's a like decaying dead body. Mm-hmm. Just like first panel, dead body in a trunk. This dude just bought this car, and it went a tire went flat. A tire went flat, right? So it pops the trunk to try and like change it, and there it is, a very decaying corpse of a dead dude. Dead. And so then they get, yes, Matt Kent. And so they start talking about Spy Superb is kind of like an ongoing joke. The very first one was the top most decorated best spy ever, but then he accidentally put on a bomb and blew himself up. And so from then on, they literally just used random people around them as Spy Superb. And like, oh, that was the most recent one. Now we got to find another one, but he was already on a mission, so we need to get his phone. Cue over to this other dude. So this other dude, they wrote him so you would hate him. He literally, oh my God, how did I put him? He's sexist, he's racist, he's narcissistic, he literally is like all of it. Because he works at a video store, and this lady wanted this beach movie because she was going on vacation at a beach. She wanted to watch a beach movie, and he tried to explain to her how wrong she was because it was a bad, you should get this one instead. No, book. I'm sorry, book. She wanted this beach book to go read at the beach. She was going to the beach. And he was like, oh, that is such a bad, like, you're wrong. And she was like, I just want my book. And so he spends 10 minutes explaining why she's wrong on wanting to read this book. And that she should actually be reading this book because it's an actual book. And she's like, no, I just want my book. And then, like, the person he's talking to at the cafe is like, gosh, I can't believe women are so dumb. And I'm like, oh my God, you want us to really hate this character is how it felt. Like they were writing this character to be
super hateable, yeah. Yes.
And they were mansplaining 2023. Exactly. That's actually one of the notes that I put. And so this is where he goes to the video stores because his phone broke. And he goes to pick it up, and the dude's like, yeah, you picked up a virus downloading all these videos and stuff. And the dude's like, well, is that part of the virus? Because I know I didn't do it. And he's like, some of the videos you were watching were kind of like really off-putting. And he's like, I didn't do that. And like he's just like starts sweating. And there's this chick behind him, like just kind of like watching him. And the guy pulls out a whole box of phones. And he's like, okay, take your phone. And then the guy just like picks it up on one side and the whole box falls all over the ground. He's like, oh my gosh. And he makes like the other dude pick it up. Mm-hmm. And the chick starts picking it up. And he just like stands behind her and is like, I can't believe some people. You're just like,
wow.
You really don't like this dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so he just grabs the phone out and leaves. when he gets home, there's a whole bunch of assassins,
Mm.
but he judges them. He was like, it's about time maintenance got here. This hasn't been working. You need to fix this. Oh my gosh, don't you know what you're doing? And he accidentally takes out all of the assassins, mansplaining and being just like terrible. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, and it spirals from there.
Mhm.
It just, if you wanted somebody to not hate, but like really dislikes a character, that is how you write that character. And they did it on purpose. I saw what they were doing, and I can't wait to see how they're going to play with that.
Mhm.
With, him now, the new, I guess he's either being mistaken as Spy Superb or he is the next Spy Superb. I can't quite figure it out. I don't know if I want to read another issue though, because that really was like
he wrote that character a little too well.
Yes, they did. They wrote that character a little too like that.
I was gonna say that it does sound like that. Get smart, but like just truly just
that's exactly what it is. It was get smart, except for he's a terrible, terrible person. And the best thing I could say about this, because he even had that little mustache of like
okay,
what would you call that? I would call it like the 70s porn stash.
Yeah, so it's something that I cannot say on this.
And then he had like the glasses, like classic 80s.
Yeah, it just sounds just sleazy and gross.
Yes, and his hair was so greased down the middle. It's just, oh, they knew what they were doing, and they did it very well writing that character.
Again, a little too well.
But for anybody who wants to follow along and see him get his comeuppance, I feel like he's going to.
Hopefully, because it could be like you said, like he just might be the spy superb. So my next one is Joe Fix It. Let's see, written by Peter David. So I really enjoyed that one. And this is shame on me, but I really do need to read Peter David's Hulk run because I know this is where he was introduced. But yeah, I do like the idea of like. Because normally it's like Bruce is like, oh no, I don't want to deal with the Hulk. He's going to ruin my life. But with Joe Fix It, it's like, I don't want Banner to come back because he's going to ruin my life because I have a pretty sweet gig here in Vegas working at a casino. And it's super awesome. So basically, this, I want to say it's a follow-up to the new Fantastic Four book that came out last year. Kind of just another mini-series following that one. And Peter, he's on his way back home. He's in Las Vegas airport, and he sees a news report about this mysterious gray fellow who has a skin condition. He's totally normal guy. He's just really large and gray. And Peter's like, huh, I know that person. He's gray. While this is going on, someone from his rogue gallery appears in the airport. It's like, oh, that's strange. They shouldn't be out here. So he decides to stay in Vegas and basically tracks him. And tracks him to a meeting where the meeting is held with a member of the rogue gallery versus Joe Fixit's boss. And of course, Joe Fixit, he gets involved. And yeah, so it kind of goes from there. But I like the idea of like, there's an altar of the Hulk where he's just like, I got my stuff together. I don't want that little dweeb coming into my life and ruining it because I got a pretty sweet thing going on.
It is a sweet suit.
Yeah, so it's a genuinely fun story. It's a fun character. I've always wanted to know more about him since he showed up in Ewing's Immortal Hulk. Because I remember a lot of people getting super hyped for his appearance. I'm like, who is Joe Fixit? Like, he sounds cool, but
tell me more.
Exactly. Tell me more. Why is Hulk in a suit? This is great. Yes, he does. He absolutely sounds like a 30s gangster to me. It was again like Purgatori Must Die. It's a really fun book. I loved it. My understanding, it is going to be a 5-issue series, and something I did appreciate is like at the end, if you're new to the character like I am, it basically gives you like the Cliff Notes, a very detailed Cliff Notes, but
nice.
Just kind of give you an idea of like, hey, so this is his whole deal. and I would love to see more of this character because he's so great. I understand why people love him because he's just so cheesy.
Want to know where his suit came from.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like who makes the suits for this character?
Do they have their own Edna mode?
Maybe.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, they need their own Edna mode. I've always wondered, like when it comes to, like the Marvel and DC like superheroes, do they have a specific person they go to make suits for them? Because we know Spider-Man, his first suit he made himself, right? And Superman, he got his first suit from his capsule that he came in, right? Mm-hmm. So do other superheroes just like who made Scarlet Witch's outfit?
Magic.
Okay, well that tracks. But I mean, like, so, do they have their own like Edna mode?
So I think with Joe Fixit, yeah, I want to say like 90s. That's when he was created.
I think.
So I don't know if anyone can confirm.
90s.
The suit store.
The suit store. Okay, you know what? Words. Words.
Late 90s or late 80s. That's I'm sorry.
No. I'm just recapturing what I read about this book. Because I read a lot of out there books. But yes, that does. I want to know who made his suit. Did he just go to a tailor and be like, hey, bruv, I need a suit? And I got you, boy.
Very large and gray. Don't worry about it. It's a skin condition.
It's a skin condition. Don't worry about it. All right, so this is Children of the Black Sun from Ablaze, #1.
From Men's Warehouse. That's good.
Superhero warehouse. All right. Okay. Here, they give you the backstory in the first 3 or 4 pages. I'm going to sum it up. So it's been 16 years since the first time that the sun went down, and when it rose, it was just a giant black ball instead of sunshine. And like 1 million people died. 1 million people died. Like they either committed suicide or stuff like that. And then the next day, it rose up all sunshine again, and everything was all happy, hunky-dory, and everybody was like, well, okay, cool, it was a one-time thing, we're done, right? 4 years later, it happens again, and Purge Night happens there. Like, the sun comes up, but it's a big black ball, and just like Purge Night, 8 million people die in that one night. In just the U.S. Not worldwide, just the U.S. 8 million die, because Purge just happens worldwide. And then when the sun comes up, everything goes back to normal, right? And it hasn't done it again. It hasn't done it again. So since that second time that it happened, like, I wouldn't call them a cult, but like a small cult has pretty much been spreading, where it's like, oh, you better be a good person and you better say your prayers and stuff. Otherwise, the sun's going to turn black again. Like I don't. Anyways, so there was a handful of people that was born on these 2 days that may or may not have powers.
Oh.
Like a couple, like it was a handful in the US were born in each like city. On any baby that was born that day was born where they were like paper white, and their hair and everything was just like whited out. But it's not like they're albino. They can be out in the sun and they don't have troubles and stuff like that. But like, yeah, they may or may not have powers. It's not exactly like confirmed. It's just sort of speculated on by the people around them, because like the second generation are all like 12 and 13-year-olds, like whatever. I think they were 12 or 13. I couldn't remember exactly, because it happened 16 and then 4 years later it happened. So yeah, they were all 12 and they're in class. And a bunch of everybody else is like making fun of them. And then one person killed somebody else's dog and blamed the kids for it, like the 2 kids in their school for it. And then the dude whose dog it was goes to like start choking out one of the kids. And then the 2 16-year-old, no, they were 18. The 2 18-year-old, no, they were 16, come up and are all like, are you really sure you want to do that? And like he just like starts backing off, and it's like, what? And then one picks up the dog, and they just kind of like walk off. And maybe powers. Like, did having no sunlight while they were born give them powers? Are they aliens? Are they special magic? Like, what is happening? Because, like, the two younger ones, when they were in class and they were doing the report, they were trying to be like, yeah, we're just humans just like everybody else. We're exactly the same on the inside. Look, my blood bleeds the same color. Like, we are the same. I just look a little different. And everybody's like, yeah, sure, okay, go off. Like, we don't believe you, though.
From Minnesota.
Maybe. But they may or may not have powers. It is undetermined at this time. So definitely pick it up if you like the mystery with a hint of like sci-fi to it. And then, because like they did a whole page of like talking to a scientist about this, and they're like, we got nothing. We know nothing about it. There was nothing. I mean, it could have been this one weird scientifical like thing that we were thinking about, could be possible, but like we don't know. It could be a thing. It ain't happened again. So maybe it's not lasers or, you know, ray guns. And everybody's like, ray guns. Blame the lasers. And they're like, we didn't do it. We don't know. Like the scientist literally looks like he's just like, I don't know, man. Science, like the sun's weird. And we ain't got nothing. Science.
As he's like just pushing files away. Yeah, we have no idea how this happened.
That's actually like, he was like, yeah, we know nothing.
Yeah, we know nothing.
You know nothing.
Right.
These are not the files you are looking for.
Where she argues herself. All right. Last book of the week is Scarlet Witch #1.
Ooh.
Look at the cover.
I have one more book too.
So yeah, this one it's an interesting book. It's like a inverse of WandaVision.
Ooh.
So like basically Wanda, she investigates this small town that's taken over by somebody, and they're basically kind of like bending down to their will. And as I'm reading this, it's like, this is WandaVision. It's WandaVision. But it's not.
It's like a side universe WandaVision.
Oh, I mean, I guess it literally is.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It was Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along.
Yeah, I was kind of like humming that to myself as I was reading it. Yeah. But yeah, I really dug it. It's a good jumping on point for fans for like new fans of the character who want to dig deeper into Wanda and her backstory after seeing her in the MCU. And it's also something that I was initially worried about because I was worried there'd be too much MCU synergy, but thankfully there isn't.
Nice.
And it's something good for like the old school Wanda fans, like myself, because it's actually respectful to the character. So it's definitely a win-win. It's an excellent #1, just across the board. The art is gorgeous. Wanda's her new suit
I do love that new suit.
It's absolutely stunning, and as she's holding it up, so that's her hair that you see, like as she goes super mode. Like her hair, it starts off normal, but it turns into like magical strands. Like it looks amazing in the book.
That does look cool.
And I'm sure people have already seen like news about this, but there is a certain character who makes an appearance, makes their debut in this issue. So it's very interesting to see them in book form as opposed to their other form. The book does end on a very interesting note that it makes me want to she's conditioner.
The best kind of conditioner.
The best, like heads and shoulders.
Oh my gosh.
So
that Dr. Teals.
Yeah, that's like the good stuff. But yeah, it's after reading this, it made me want to read another 12-issue series that came out a couple years ago that features a character related to her. And if you know what I'm talking about, I hope you guys check that out too after reading this one. But yeah, I just really like this book. I was so excited once it was announced because I adore Steve Orlando's other books, and it was good. It did my girl justice.
Nice. I want to know what kind of like hair care shoes. I want to know. I need a whole like panel, like a whole page of her hair care routine now. Like just, is it magic? It's gotta be magic.
Yes, it's magic.
All right, so this was actually my favorite book this week, and I'm gonna tell you why. This felt very personal to me. So, this person right here, she used to be part of a biker gang. Like all of her life, she was always part of like little gangs growing up, and then as like kind of an adult, she was in a biker gang, and I was never in a biker gang. I just, went to biker rallies and rode with other bikers and other things like that. And then trying to leave that life behind, she becomes a barista. And her biggest problem right now is trying to get people to distinguish the difference between small, medium, large, and a regular, because they keep coming in and they're like, I want a regular coffee. And she's like, well, okay, do you want small, medium, or large? And they're like, you're so blinking stupid. I said regular. And she's like, we don't have regular. We have blinking small, blinking medium, and blinking large. And the manager comes out and he's like, hey, let's not try and use that word. She's like, fine. Or what is a regular? And they're like, how about a medium? She's like, then I'll get you a blinking medium. How about, was that so hard? And you're just like, oh my gosh. It is really hard to go from if somebody tries to give you slack, you can give the slack back to customer service. That's a huge jump that I also had trouble doing back in the day. But I think I'm doing okay now. And then, so what happens is, like, after a while, this dude comes in holding this big, heavy bag. And he's, like, really drunk. He's kind of, like, stumbling around, the cafe. And she's like, well, I'm going to let him, go sit or do whatever. And this other really big, muscly dude comes in with his baby. Just, like, in the what do they call those? Like, the baby front.
Yeah, sling.
Yes, thank you. Like, and then he, like, the dude actually accidentally steps back into him. He's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Are you in line? Do you want to go first? And he's like, blank you. And he's like, well, okay, you didn't have to do that. I'll just go order my drink. And then he just like, the drunk dude's just like blanking idiot and his blanking baby, the blank and blank this, and what an ugly blanking baby. And then the dad's like, hope. And he takes the baby out of the sling, hands it to the barista. He's like, hold my baby. And she's just like, what? He's like, hold my baby. And she's just like holding it. And the manager comes around and is like, why are you holding a baby? She's like, he handed me his baby. What'd you want me to do? Drop it? And he just starts like wailing on the drunk guy. And the drunk guy just like runs off. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, try me. And then he puts the baby back. And he's like, can I have a large coffee, please? A large latte? And I'm just like, I'm here for that. Dad, go off. And he puts the baby in. He's like, can I get a small milk for the baby too? And she's like, oh, that was adorable. And then they leave for the night. And the barista picked up the bag and threw it in the trash, but happened to empty what was in the bag into her bag. And then she gets home and she's like, man, I really want to count this money. That's a lot of money. Don't count it because then I'll want to spend it. And if I spend it, I'll get caught. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then her stomach starts growling. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to spend some of it. And she goes to the grocery store and gets like pizza bites and bagel bites and like all these snacks and stuff. And she's come home and she's sitting at home just like eating an ice cream. And then the landlord's like, hey, I let you slide for like 3 months. I need something. And she like looks at that. She's like, 3 months, I got you. And she hands him 3 months of rent and cash. And he's like, oh, okay. And then she goes back to work. And we all know when you find a bag of money, trouble gonna follow. So I'm not gonna say anything else. Except for that whole interaction was great because there's one dude that she works with that does nothing but sit in the back texting or like smoking pot. And so she like throws him under the bus like it ain't nobody's business. And yeah, you should definitely pick this up. This is my pick of the week. I loved it. What's great about this book, I actually got to interview the creator a while back. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. And then also got to it came out many years ago, like the original storyline to it. But I'm so glad that it's Black Mass, right? Yeah, Black Mass picked it up, so now we get to read it. And it's all in black and white, so that's really cool too. Yeah, it felt very personal to me.
Yeah, I read it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like, I like how the main character, like, she's not the most likable person.
Yeah, but she's trying.
Yeah, she's not a good person, but you still want to root for her because it's like, because
she's a regular person,
right? Working as a barista, I've heard
and that's
a lot of
hard.
horror stories. Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Anything
So
retail or
right.
customer service is hard.
Right, so you can't really fault her for restraint.
Oh God, she has a lot more restraint than I did the first time somebody says.
You do, like, you can still notice on the cover, she's like about to step strap on her. So
she ready.
So she's ready to go. But I like the idea of it, like of a barista having to deal with all this, especially for background.
Oh my gosh, I felt her hard. I was like, because so we work customer service retail, and we love our customers. We love all of you guys. Like, you guys are like, this is a great community. But every once in a while, you get that that type of person. You get that type of person, and just like having to just. She said what we all felt. Because she even made a sign. She made a little sign in there. It's like, we have small, medium, and large, not effing regular. And then the manager's like, you can't do that. And so she like crossed it out, but you definitely tell that it's still there. It's just like, oh, I feel it.
Oh my gosh.
Let it go. No, it wasn't you. So I'll tell you, since we do have a little bit of time, we have winning throw bucks. I'll tell you guys, I used to work at a store that is drowning right now. I'm not going to say it was the stopping of the video gaming. And yeah. Oh, the Kali Kaiju. Yes. These came in. I also have the book for it. This came out this week too. It was a Kickstarter from Garrett Gunn, Dr. Christie, Dave Lentz, and Fosgit.
Ooh, what's the story behind that?
I haven't got to read it yet. It literally just came in. But these are the kaiju that come with it. And they're all adorable. I actually had, so the story was, back when the knighting of the forts was super popular, there was a game they would do, the kids that were playing it, they would record themselves going into said store and either kicking us or spitting on us and then leaving, and we weren't allowed to do anything at all. Like, their parents would come in and be like, why'd you let my kid, like, what is this? Because the first time that happened, this kid came up and kicked me, and I grabbed him, and I was like, hey, you can't do that, that's assault. And the parent came up, was ready to fight. We had to call security. So we have things happen, and we are lovely people for not
Sending kaiju after you.
exactly. Yes. So this is the ash can. It did just come out. We will have them on our show here in a little bit. And these are all four of them. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this one.
You want me to tell you their names?
Yes, please. Wait,
That one is Thrasher. The one that Shanice is holding is Wingnut.
I love Wingnut. Look at his little ear.
Ooh. Then the next one Shanice has is Squid Vicious.
Look at his butt. Squid Vicious.
Love that. That's cute. Squid Vicious.
And all of them have these butt tattoos.
And that last one is Double Heather. Wow.
Heather.
Shanice, you like that name, huh? Squid Vicious?
Kudos. That's a funny name.
And that's Double Heather.
I think I know what I need to get Shanice for her birthday then. Squid Vicious it is.
Oh my gosh. that made my day.
Oh my gosh. Pablo drive by. Room. And he's gone. Wingnut loves pizza according to Garrett. Oh. Okay. This one is my favorite because he's the biggest and the plushiest, but like, I thought that was his nose. It's not. It's his eyes. It's like he's got wings on.
Yes, Wingnut is my favorite because he's so big, but those little tiny baby wings.
I see the tiny.
Feel the tiny baby.
I saw it. I was flipping it.
Feel the tiny baby.
They're so soft. Like all those plushies, they did not cheap out on. These are like very high quality plushies.
And if you buy this one, there's a little bit of my kiss on there now.
Some Jenna DNA.
A little bit of Jenna. Oh my goodness. So yes, that was everything that we had come in this week. We didn't have a whole lot of like number ones and new stuff. So,
but there are some amazing trades that, if you have time, I can show them off real fast.
Yeah, they're right here.
My here's some.
Here's one I wanted to show off. Is My Sister the Cat #1. Look how cute that is. Oh, I love him. You want me to start showing them off?
Yeah.
All right, this one is new Fantastic Four. Hell in a Handbasket.
So that was actually the one I was talking about earlier. It's definitely read that because it's a lot of fun. And after you read Joe Fix It or before you read Joe Fix It.
Yeah, this is Good Boy Volume 2. We all know we love Good Boy. Here is, how do you say that? Corollary? I'm so bad.
I think
This is
it's corollary.
Corollary. That sounds right. That sounds better. Okay, what else?
There is Ant-Man, the miniseries that came out last year. Also very good to read before the film comes out. It focuses on the different Ant-Man. So you have, of course, you have Hank, you have Eric, you have Scott, and you have a mysterious new one.
Ooh.
And it has a sequel coming out called a miniseries. It has a follow-up coming out featuring the Wasp, coming out in a couple weeks. So this is Invasion of the Spider Slayers, an epic collection.
Ooh.
This one I was really excited about, Kraven's Last Hunt.
Ooh.
It's tied as one of my favorite Spider-Man stories.
Okay, everybody say it with me. Ooh. Ah.
And this is Earth's Mightiest Avengers Omnibus. It's very heavy.
That is a chunky boy.
From Mr. Kurt Busiek and the late George Perez. Highly recommend. There's also another cool one.
Here, put that one up there.
Yeah.
Here, Bridget.
Same book, but it's a different cover featuring Mr. Perez's amazing, beautiful art.
Haha, it fits.
Somewhere it's too heavy up there. I'll put it right here.
Yeah.
So, both Scarlet Witches next to it. But yeah, it's a really good week for comics. It's not a lot, but when it lacks in quantity, it makes up for quality. It makes up in quality.
Quantity.
Exactly. The book is
Words
thick.
are hard. This
Miles.
is a thick... Ooh. What's up?
I know how to say "and" in Spanish.
Omingo. Ominga.
Ominga.
Is that an A or an O?
It's an A.
I need better glasses. Or amiga.
See, my sister
Nice.
the cat.
Oh my god, this looks so... I'm just gonna sit here. Like, it's from...
Jenna, the book on the bottom on your side, I missed it. What is it called?
The book on the bottom on my side? This one?
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was Punchline and Camilla Wallace.
Sorry.
This was crazy. How come I didn't see that comment? That's crazy. So yes, these were the books that we got in. Make sure to stick around. There's another show on right after us at... It's going to be 7 o'clock for us. So 7 o'clock Central is, I think...
Actually, that show canceled. There's not another show till 8:30 Central, and that's Country Road Comics.
All right, dope. So definitely stick around for Country Road Comics. That also gives you a chance if you wanted to hop over to the CBSN to catch our new book show where I will be selling all of this stuff. So have you guys a great day. Bye.